Hello students, in the today's experiment we have to determine the Fe+2 ion content with the help of N by 30 potassium dichromate solution by using potassium ferricyanide as an external indicator. So first of all we start with what is the mean of the Fe+2 ion content. It means the strength or the concentration of Fe+2 ions. And from where these Fe+2 ions come into the solution? They come into the solution from the Mohr salt. The chemical name of the Mohr salt is ferrous ammonium sulfate, and the chemical formula of the Mohr salt is ferrous sulfate, ammonium sulfate, 6H2. And in short, it is called FAs. F for ferrous, A for ammonium, S for sulfate. It's basically a double salt. And when this Mohr salt dissolves in water, they readily releases the Fe+2 ions. Or in aqueous medium, they releases the Fe+2 ions, about which we have to report the concentration of the strength of a solution. Now, we have to determine the strength of Fe+2 ions. And whenever we have to report the strength of with the concentration of a given sample solution, then we have to go for the titration. And for the titration, basically we require three things. First is unknown, second is known, and the third one is indicator. Unknown is the given sample solution of Fe+2 ions. Known is N by 30 potassium dichromate solution. Later on I will tell you why we are using this N by 30 potassium dichromate as in a standard solution. And the third one is indicator, that is via potassium ferricyanide, which we are using externally. And one more chemical we are using this, that is via dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, now we move to the principle or the theory part of the experiment. See, we have to determine the strength of the Fe+2 ions. So Fe+2 ions, that is called ferrous ion, when react with the indicator, they form a ferrous ferric cyanide name of compound, that is a greenish blue color compound, and it is basically complex compound of permanent blue color. Okay, now why as compared to this one, ferric ion, when it reacts with the indicator, let us be again by potassium ferricyanide, and then result in the formation of ferricyanide. And this compound retains the original color of the indicator, that is the pale yellow color. So both of the ions, ferrous and ferric ion, react with the indicator in a different manner, and in this by which we will be able to find out the end point of the titration. So the end point of the titration is be reported when we convert the Fe+2 ion into a Fe+3 ion, because both of the ions react with the indicator in a different manner. So our object is we have to convert Fe+2 into Fe+3 ion, and this will be takes place with the release of an electron, and this case is called a oxidation reaction. And for the oxidation reaction we need a oxidizing agent. In this titration we are using acidified potassium dichromate as an oxidizing agent. See, this is the reaction of the acidified potassium dichromate, how the potassium dichromate reacts with the sulfuric acid and releases the 3 atoms of nascent oxygen, and in this manner it will behave as a oxidizing agent. And see, this is the overall reaction of the titration, or with the overall reaction of the acidified potassium dichromate with the ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate which is present in the solution due to of Mohr salt, and this ferrous sulfate is converted into a ferric sulfate, which is our object. And now this ferrous ion is converted into a ferric ion. It get oxidized, and whereas the chromium ion is get reduced. So the oxidation and the reduction both take simultaneously, and that's why the name of the titration is redox titration, because in this titration the reduction as well as oxidation both takes simultaneously. Now in this titration we are using potassium ferricyanide as an external indicator. Why we are using this indicator as external indicator? Because the potassium ferricyanide, when reacted with the ferrous ion, it forms a compound ferrous ferricyanide ferricyanide, which have a permanent blue color. And if we add this indicator internally into the conical flask, which already have a Fe+2 ion, then it means the conical flask have a compound ferrous cyanide of permanent blue color, and it means we didn't get the end point of the titration. To get the end point of the titration, we are using this indicator externally on a piece of paper or on a piece of tile. Okay, now we are going to start the experiment. First of all, we have to fill the burette by the standard solution. See, this is the standard solution, that is the potassium dichromate, N/30 potassium dichromate. We have already filled the burette by the standard solution, that is the N/30 potassium dichromate. And see, this is the conical flask. In this conical flask, we have to take the 10 ml of unknown sample solution, means the given sample solution of a iron ore or with a ferrous ion solution in the conical flask. Now, what we have to do, we have to add the 2 to 3 ml of dilute H2SO4 in the given sample solution, just to make it acidified. See, this is the dilute H2SO4. By doing this, the given sample solution is acidified. Why? What is the need to acidify this solution? Because we know that the acidified potassium dichromate acts as an oxidizing agent. See, oxidizing agent is acidified potassium dichromate in this titration. Now what we have to do? We have to add the standard solution in the conical flask. We have to start the titration. As we know that in this titration we are using indicator externally, so we have to take the drops of indicator on a plain page of paper like this in a drop manner. This is the manner to use the indicator externally. See, as we know that this solution, the conical flask contains the given sample solution, means the iron ore sample solution, that is ferrous iron. See, take a drop of the given sample solution with the help of the glass rod, and when it reacts with the drop of indicator, it give a greenish blue color compound like this. During this, the ferrous ion, this reaction is going to be takes place. Ferrous ion, when react with the indicator, it forms a ferrous ferricyanide name of compound of greenish blue color, and it is the permanent color. That's why we are using indicator externally. Now we have to start our titration. We have to add the standard solution into the conical flask. First of all, we add 1 ml of. We added a 1 ml of N/30 potassium dichromate in a conical flask. By doing this, the ferrous ion started to oxidize into a ferric ions, and the concentration of ferrous ion is started to decrease. It means see, in this, the color is fainted as compared to the before one. Why? Because the concentration of Fe+2 decreases, because it converted into the ferric ion due to the oxidation. Add 1 more ml of potassium dichromate in this. See, the color change decreases regularly. Now add few drops of see, again the color fainted. add 3-4 drops again of your 0.1 ml into the conical flask. See, a little bit greenish blue color is there, means a little bit Fe+2 ion is there, still there, and we have to convert all the Fe+2 ions into Fe+3, and that will be takes place with the help of the acidified potassium dichromate acid. We add in this just to make it acidified, and we are adding potassium dichromate from the burette. See, in this, no change in color is observed. It means that is with our end point of the titration, and we have to take the reading from the burette, that is 8.5 ml in this case. So we have to write this reading into the observation table. See, this is the observation table. In the observation table, for first reading, volume of sample solution taken is 10 ml, which we took in the conical flask. Burette reading, the initial reading of the burette is 0. Final reading is where the endpoint comes. Okay, and that is 8.5. So finally, the volume of N/30 potassium dichromate used against the Fe+2 ion solution, that is 8.5 ml. We have to abstract the initial reading from the final. That is the 8.5 in this case. Now we have to do the same job 3 times to get the concordant reading. And the concordant reading is 8.5, which we get when we run 3 times the same experiment. Now what we have to do? We have to move to the calculation part. See, in the calculation, we have to determine the strength. The formula of the strength is normality multiplied by equivalent weight. So first of all, we have to determine the normality. So normality is determined with the help of normality equation. That is N1 is equal to N2B. This is for unknown part, this is for a known part. Unknown, as we know that the normality is not given for the unknown, and we took the 10 ml of unknown into a conical flask, and we titrate this against the N/30 potassium dichromate solution. So the normality is 1/30 and volume is 8.5, and the normality is 8.5 divided by 300. Now strength of Fe+2 ions, normality multiplied by equivalent weight of ferrous ion. Normality, which we calculated here, that is 8.5 divided by 300, and the equivalent weight of Fe+2 ion is 56. And when we multiply this 56 with this normality, we will get 1.58 gram per liter. That is the strength of Fe+2 ions. Now, how we calculate the equivalent weight of ferrous ion? The equivalent weight of ferrous ion is calculated in a different way. That is, equivalent weight of Fe+2 ions is equal to the atomic weight of Fe divided by the number of electrons exchanged during the reaction. Atomic weight of the iron is 56, and number of electron exchange during the reaction, that is 1 in this case. So divided by 1 is equal to 56, and so that we multiply it with 56. We multiply the normality with the 56, and we get the strength of the calculation. Strength of the Fe+2 ions. Thank you.